Well, let's do one of the things that you were saying.
Could we do the crystals?
Yeah,
We do crystals?
I can do
I would love to.
crystals.
You want to just hang out? Just stay there. You're great.
Yeah.
I'm making a thought if I wanted to.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay, go on.
And try not to be deterred by his presence.
Okay, yeah.
It sounds like you're. Okay. All right, let's do another 5.
Okay. Let me see if this is recording.
Okay. You work at a shop. You sell all sorts of things. One of the things that you sell are these crystals. You're even wearing one around your neck.
Yes, multiple actually. This is all.
You got a
stones
couple
as
of them.
well, yes.
Okay. And I'm curious why you actually are wearing them. Do you think that they really do have powers? Or are they just pretty little necklaces that you like to wear?
So I think,
Or something else? I don't want
Yeah.
to pigeonhole you to this too.
So I think that my personal belief on them is like for this one, I set the intention of what it does in my life, and then it is kind of the placebo effect that I kind of create for myself. And it could be based off of what I can Google what does Moldavite do? That's the stone that I'm wearing right now. What does Moldavite do? And there's this book, there's readings on the internet, there's videos on these are the properties of Moldavite. If you
Yeah.
wear it, this is what you will do. You will transform at a rapid pace into your highest version of yourself, like rapid transformation. And so then I can give that intention to this in my head. Like I'm like, okay, that's what it's for. If I wear this, that's what I'm doing. I'm transforming rapidly. So
You read an explanation of what this thing can do. You then communicate with the object, or you.
it could be there are like ritual. I did this once. I was like, okay, I'm gonna anoint what they mean. Like I'm gonna be like, you are gonna help me like remember my dreams, and you're gonna help me do this, and you're gonna help me be more loving. Whatever it is that, whatever aspect of my life that stone is meant for, and I would actually look up the definition for that stone.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could do that with a random thing like this. I actually don't know what all these stones are, and I just use this necklace as just like, and then setting it to be like, oh, just be authentic in your life. That's what this one means.
Okay.
But this one is like the rapid transformation.
Okay, I want to repeat back what I think you said. And I
Okay.
think you said that you will look up what these things mean, and then you'll impart that meaning on that object. And then, but the piece that I was missing is, then what happens? Is the object then making those things happen, or because you've set the intention, I think you said, are you now becoming that positive thing that this thing is representing because you're doing it yourself? Is the object doing it?
I think
Something
I'm
else?
doing it myself, and this is a belief that I feel like most people don't have. Most people think it's up to the stone, like they cannot do this without the stone.
If I lost that stone, I would be devastated or something. Yeah.
But I understand that like it's me creating it. So
Okay, you could, if you lost this on the trail just now, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you just went back to your store and bought another one and
I
imbued
mean,
it
this
again.
one's kind of expensive, so I'd be bummed, but
There would be
yeah.
a cost,
Yeah.
but we're talking monetary rather than
Yes.
mental anguish or something like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
There is, with stones, people also do feel like stones call them. Certain types of stones call you at a certain time in your life, which I guess because there's stones that I have on my list that I want to buy right now for certain things, but that's more of like things that I want to work on, I think, that I'm like, oh, this stone aligns with what I want to work on, so I'm drawn to that one because...
I'm kind of wondering, how you mentioned it's expensive. Do you mind sharing roughly?
This one, so Moldavite is, you can only get it from the Czech Republic, so it's a rare stone. This actually is from space, so that's also where it's more exciting because it's from like a meteorite that came from space and created these stones. And so this one, I got a discount because I worked there, but it originally cost $90 for this piece, which is actually a good deal for this kind of stone. Yeah.
Do you have the ability to set the intention in objects for more than one thing? Like, now that you have this stone, can you set intentions for all sorts of things? Can this one object represent that so that you don't have to keep going out and buying $90 stones? Or is this a one-time only thing? This stone is really only good for this. If you're setting the intention, why would you need to buy more than one thing?
Yeah, I can change the intention, but in my mind, like with the crystal specifically, if I want to work on multiple things, like say I want to work on like being more money, let's do a material thing, money. I want to attract more money in my life. I could clean the intention off of this like mindfully, be like, okay, you're not going to help me transform anymore, you're going to help me attract money. But in my own mind, like, I feel like I can't put too many intentions on one thing. I feel like it is possible, but for me personally, I guess I prefer to do it with multiple objects.
So not only are you setting intentions on objects, you're also setting limitations of the number of intentions you can set on the object.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, this one can be for transformation, and then I'm thinking, like, in my placebo effect, like, I set that intention for transformation, so I'm running around. But this one actually can be to attract, like, material wealth as well. And even though I'm not, like, focused on that right now,
Yeah.
I guess subconsciously I could, because I read that it does that too, so it's like subconsciously my mind thinks.
I'd like to add more scientific
Hold on.
to what she's saying.
If you don't mind.
Yes.
And I'm a rational, kind of scientific-y kind of person too. But if I can have a request.
Yes.
Can you form it in a question for her?
And a question for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would you ask her?
Okay, well, that's a good question.
Do you need a few seconds to think about it?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Go.
What is, because he's asking you about setting intentions, but is there a purpose for other stones or crystals? And why exactly do each crystal, based on where they're from and what they're made of, have an effect on what they're able to attract?
See, that is, I don't know if that's an agreement that, like, the humans made who, like, found it, like, oh, this stone is going to help you do this. Kind of like with words, like, we agree what the words mean. Like, I think about that. Who decides what this means?
That's a great question, and that's a great question too.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's say that you go on the trail, and I actually have 2 rocks on my desk. I don't know why I have them. I don't imbue them with intention, but I just like them, and every once in a while I touch it, and it's like
humans are
I touched the
naturally
stone.
drawn to stones.
But let's say that you're on the trail and you found a stone, and you decided to imbue it with something. That's a really good question. Like, who's deciding what these rocks can do? The person who finds it and puts it on the internet and lists it to buy? Let's see what she has to say. What do you think, Tatum?
What is the science behind where they're from? And
Well, not so much the science perhaps,
yeah,
but
no, yeah.
the methodology. How does it work? How could we draw this out if we were to use this whiteboard? You go on the trail, you find a rock. Could anybody take that rock and list it and imbue it with a property and sell it for $90?
I feel like,
I have a question that might help her.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm...
Let's give her some time to process
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
Yeah, ask the question again.
Sure. What's stopping anybody from going out there and finding a rock, listing it on the internet and selling it for $90 and saying, this will make you lose weight? And then it actually be true?
Well, it is there is the, like, I guess there's the science to, like, determine what kind of stone that it is. Because
The origin of it, and maybe the geographic region that it's from.
the type, like an amethyst or like a jade or like...
Yeah, there are some rocks that are only found in certain areas. What I'm interested in is who's determining what power this rock really has.
Yeah. That's what I've
I'm going to ask
wondered.
that question now. I want to ask earlier.
And perhaps even more deep is, why are you believing what they're telling you about the rock?
Why do I believe what the internet tells me about the rock? I guess because that intention's already set on it. Like, I could make something up, but because also I wanted to add this.
Wait, sorry.
Okay.
Repeat that? I missed it. What were you just saying about the intentions?
Oh, it's already, like, set for me. So it's like, why would I?
Oh.
I could set my own. Like, if I find a rock, for example, I have found rocks, like, on trails. And I'm like, oh, I like this rock. And I actually embed that rock. The intention of that rock is to remember that hike I was on. I don't sit there and be like, this rock is going to
It's a device to help you remember an event that really happened. What we're discussing is who's deciding what power these rocks actually have, and why are people taking their word for it?
This goes for a lot of things. Because this rock actually comes from, like, there's things saying that this was part of, like, what is it? Some spiritual, like, where it ties into, like, normal religion. Like, this rock was the...
There's the Kaaba for Islam. They have a rock.
I think it might have tied into Christianity.
Joseph Smith put a seer stone, a rock, in a hat, and then started dictating the Bible. So yeah, there are people who say that rocks have all these powers. What I'm interested in is, how are you determining that this rock can do what these people are telling you that it can do?
Oh, because I decide that it does it. I
Okay.
feel like it's me who makes like, because there's some rocks that's like this could be for, and the list goes on. It could be for money. It could be for love. It could be for attracting random occurrences in your life.
Okay.
And
One last question, and then we'll get Dylan's feedback.
Okay.
And maybe another question out of him.
Okay.
So, what I'd like to know is, have you considered the option of skipping the middleman, so to speak, and keeping the $90 in your pocket,
Yeah.
and just simply telling yourself that you are capable of doing this. You can do this without a rock. You can do this, and just
Yeah.
set the intention without the intermediate step.
Yeah, and I do that in different areas of my life where it's like, oh, like I actually haven't bought stones. I buy them very rarely, but whenever I do, it's like more. There's also a material aspect of like wearing it, and it's like your friends see it and they're like, oh, that's a cool stone. There's also the aspect of just wearing things in general, like wearing clothes.
There might be some social advantages to carrying it. It gets
Yeah.
people's attention. People might be more friendly to you.
I use it to attract people who are into it as well. So it's like to find people who are like of like-minded things. They're like I've met people who are like, oh, I like your stones, and I'm like, like you're
Gotcha.
in.
Yet it sounds like there are times in your life where you are able to tell yourself that you're capable of doing things without having to dangle a rock around your neck.
Yes.
It's still something that you could probably do on your own without the object.
It's more of a reminder, I guess.
Okay.
Like if I'm wearing it
Yeah.
and I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm wearing my Moldavite. I purposely put it on in the morning to be like, I'm living for this one specifically. This one's more of a complex one, like transformation, like becoming the best version of yourself possible. There's easy ones that are just like attract money,
And this, by looking at it, it's influencing your behavior because it reminds you of the goal that you've set by putting it around your neck.
Same
and
like
buying
if I had a tattoo, I guess, and I looked at it and it had a meaning to be like, oh yeah, I want to do this. I thought about getting a tattoo on my wrist to look at, to be like, that was the same thing, like to be my best version of myself. Like a tattoo to look at, to be like, oh yeah, that's there forever. I guess I have to be my best version of myself.
Yeah, so like you're in a heated conversation with Dylan here, for example, or you might glance at the tattoo and it
or
could,
the necklace.
it could possibly change your
I'm trying
behavior.
to be my highest self.
Are human beings making this happen when it comes down to it, and there's really no supernatural component to it?
I think it depends on the human being, because some humans think that it's the supernatural component, but them believing in the supernatural component makes them do it, or them believe it in themselves.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
They're still doing it even though they're thinking that there's a supernatural component.
Yeah,
It's really just them all along.
yeah, and that could go deeper into like them being God and stuff, instead of God being outside of them, that it's in them, and yeah.
Well, that was a great talk.
Yeah.
Let me give you my card.
Okay.
I really enjoyed chatting with you both, and it was really neat to see the dynamic between the two of you.